All right. Welcome, 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 everybody. How is everyone doing? It's just on 12 o'clock. Well, it's just a little bit after 12. And we've got the ILRE Real Estate success story for Friday, this Friday. And we've got a really cool couple on today. It's going to be really, really cool. The really interesting thing about this one is it's about mindset. Get your mindset right and you'll add zeros to your deals. It really is key. And there's yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to really enjoy this one today. So why don't we just get started and get straight into it? Agan, Sanaz, welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hi, thank you.
Great. Yeah, we're doing well. Thanks for bringing us out of this lockdown and sharing and talking with people. So great.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. And look, thank you so much for doing this and and making the decision to really share your story as well. It's the thing I find really amazing is that every student has a different way of taking advantage of what Dymphna offers. And you've done it in such a unique way and you've got a really unique story. So I'm really keen to share that as well. So mate, awesome. Looking forward to it. And let's just get straight into it, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. So first of all, and look, welcome to everybody that has joined us via Zoom and also on Facebook. So obviously this will go for about hopefully around about an hour or so, approximately. And if you do have queries or questions and so forth, pop them in. We'll see if we can get them answered as we go through a little bit later on when we get into the session. So, Agan and Sanaz, so I wanted to find out a little bit about what was your life like before you joined the community? Can you give us a little bit of an idea of what that was like?
Yeah, so for me, when I came into this community, because I come from an arts background, right? So I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and I've come from the arts backgrounds. And so I never knew that there was so many possibilities and so many options of how you can actually can create wealth through property, but also not only that, but and how much of the mindset is important in actually creating property. So when I came into the community, I had no idea of any of these. I was telling Ivan last night, I remember being at one of the first events and we were doing some calculations, some projections, and then I was like putting numbers in, and I'm like, oh, is this how much I have, or is this how much we have? I was absolutely clueless on a lot of the things when I joined the community, and it's been amazing.
Cool. And Agun, how about yourself?
Well, look, I was already investing in property. I was interested in property. I knew the thing to do in property was, in Australia, was property. My family is in property. My uncle is a builder, developer. He retired now. My cousins and all that stuff. So I invested in things as well, in property as well. But things were moving fast enough. And I think back in 2011, I went to an event listening to Dymphna, because I was in search of how can you do this. You couldn't just buy a negatively geared property and leave it there and it working for us. So then, yeah, I came and learned, I got into the community and started going through the work and all that stuff. But yeah, so I was always interested. I was in corporate and I wanted to get into property and learn a bit more, because I knew there was other things that I didn't know, and I even see my uncle succeed and do well out of property. He still made mistakes that cost him dearly, and then he didn't create cash flow. As long as he was doing deals, it was working, but then he still had issues with tax side of things, serviceability. He had problems borrowing money from the banks. And then he had to liquidate some of the properties that he was holding for his retirement.
All because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
lack
exactly.
Of information.
Exactly.
Wow.
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say it's really fascinating to hear that as well. That someone who's been involved with property like that is running into those things. That's certainly not uncommon, as well. Yeah. You
Yeah.
okay?
So,
Shuffling things around. Okay, all good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
good. I'm
so,
trying to, can you move that window so I can't see the things at the top?
I don't think I can. So it's
Sorry, I'm trying. Okay, now we're good.
You good now?
That's good. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
All right. So look,
awesome.
I suppose the next thing I wanted to get into is so what the decision-making process looks like. It was like, hey, I need to know more. I need to know how to fill the gaps and do it right and do it fast. Was that really the?
Yeah, exactly. And then because what happened is 2012, I was in corporate earning good money, and then I couldn't do it anymore. So my body started, aches and pains, and so I had to change direction, career change. I tried a few different things, and I really wanted to have an extra. I invested in property, but I wanted an extra return, and I read in the books that you could actually do that passive income through property and all that, but I just didn't know how to do it. It was like a pie in the sky kind of dream. Like I wanted to do it, but I didn't believe that it's possible.
How? Yeah.
Forget about how. It's just like, it's not possible. It's not possible for me. It's just those lucky people that are born into money. That's what has, or whatever my story is. I don't want to bore you with that, but there was blocks and limitations, but I also was in the search of it. And you know how it is when you're searching for something, you're bound to find it or get into trouble, one or the other. But I think I found, that what I was looking for.
Yeah, awesome. So it like at this point, it's kind of like when things were starting to change, it was very much, was the mindset the main kind of like focus for you guys when you first kind of got into the training?
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, yes, mindset was massive because for me, for myself, I just had to get over that, like just another zero. It's not that big of a deal. And I know that's, to people listening, they're like, what do you mean? But it's really like that. I think once you start playing the game differently, it just doesn't feel as heavy and it's not as significant. And I had to get over that and create that within myself. But also at the same time, it was information overload. Like for the first year, I was like, what? And I remember we used to go to the boot camps and I'll be sitting there going, what are you guys even talking about? Like, what? I don't understand any of this material. But now I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then taking action on the stuff that we've learned, for example, tax, right? Initially it was like, oh my God, like I don't understand. None of this makes any sense. But then now when we're actually taking action and we're doing the things, I'm like, wow, this is so exciting. I actually understand this. I don't want to do it. It sounds really weird, but it's just the shift has been so profound. And a lot of it has been mindset and also taking action.
Just to give the background, I joined Ultimate and Quantum back in 2013. And Sanas wasn't in the picture then. I was married with someone else and now she's an ex. And Sanas came in 2017, and then pretty much at the end of, and I tell that. So, but she wasn't around and she didn't do much of this. So she didn't know any of it. So she just got thrown into the deep end. And
then we joined Platinum the first year, 2000, after we met.
So we met 2017, and then pretty much at the end of the year, we were up in Gold Coast. It's Extreme Income Fast Profits. And then we talked to one of the Platinum coaches, Mick, at the time. And we're going to sign up and all that jazz. And
I had no idea what I was signing myself onto. I really didn't. All I knew that he's like, oh, yeah, we can do this. And I was like, all right, okay, let's do it. And so it was extreme learning curve for me. Yeah, the first year.
I remember there was that, because before we went up to that, there was a one-day event. Dymphna was in Melbourne, Sofitel, and I took Sanas there. I'm like, I think this woman, she gives great information. She's the real deal. I just want you to have a feel of it, because I really wanted Sanas to be on this journey with me, not just Aygun's gig. I wanted Sanas on the journey as well, right? So yeah, and then we decided to sign up at the end of 2017. We signed up and started in 2018 in platinum, and that, you know, just changed things altogether.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, which are the kind of events that you've really got a lot out of within the community? Because I think there's a couple that you've.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of them, right? I've gone to pretty much all of the events. So if you're asking my favorites, you know, Bali event's the one. So do you want me to share some of the photos that we talked about?
Maybe just build up to what Bali event is.
Okay, all right, cool.
Maybe, and yeah, if you could start off with the ones within the ILRE real estate community first.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So,
and then work onto that, because that's a very different event, and I think that if you can start within those ones, and then work, that would be great. And then if you want to share some things in, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no worries, Michael. Look, it's the Super Conference is my event, right? So, and I'll tell you, like, it was so big that I would go to it at all costs, kind of thing, you know. So I'm kind of because of these lockdowns and things not happening, just kind of upset that it's not happening, and then that's these kind of interviews.
This year, we're going to make it work.
Awesome, that's awesome. And like, because I'm talking to other people, other members in the community, that they think the same. So we really, because it's an injection of inspiration, and that's where I've gone from, does this really work, to wow, look at this, like story after story. Because, you know, you usually, like, I've done other courses and I've done other things, so they usually have one or two key people that work really closely with the leader or the owner of the organization, that they do really well, and everything else just, like, you know, looking up and hoping and wishing that they could do it, but they can't. But whereas in I Love Real Estate, I'm like, wow, man, like that person's done it. Like eventually, after going to one or two super conferences, I'm like, this is undeniable. Like, this works for people. And then it gone from, it works for people, like, does it work? Can I trust it? To, wow, yeah, I can trust it. It works. Because I kept talking to those people that were on stage, and I'm like, they're real people like me. And then why are you laughing?
Real people.
Yeah, like, it's not like they're not placed in there, like, strategically to, you know, fool you, because I have a very imaginative mind. And then I've gone from, well, it's possible, then is it possible for me? So that super conference created, and then Dymphna always brought some keynote speaker, or like we had Michael Myers, the Maya Group's grandson. We had this Aborigine guy. He had shared an incredible story. Then we had John, the guy who started Kontiki tours. So it's just like always great inspirational speakers, as well as people sharing their stories. And then you, like, get really emotional and get touched in your heart, like the adversity they've gone through and what they create. So Super Conference, like, I'm getting emotional talking about it, is the one that I love.
It's so much fun that when our little son was born, we drove to Sydney. We celebrated his 3 months within the community. You know? So he just turned 3 months, and we drove to Sydney with him in the car, you know. So yeah, because we wanted to be part of it, and we wanted him to start them early. Yeah. So we wanted him to be part of the vibe and get the community.
So yeah,
3 months. And I suppose I should just say as well, for those of you who don't know, I Love Real Estate Super Conference, it usually happens at the end of every year. It's called the party of the year. It's a celebration of success. Dymphna gets generally about 16 students up on stage, goes through their stories, and obviously has other speakers talk as well. And some of the photos you may have seen, there's 700-800 people in the room at one time. Fantastic event to top off the year. So we didn't have one, obviously, the previous year. We're doing our best to make it work as live as we can get it this year. So watch out for that. So that's what, obviously, Agan and Sanaz were talking about.
And for me, I have to say that Millionaire Within.
My second
Millionaire Within is my favorite, and we've got some really amazing gold, like nuggets of gold that we've taken from there, like some of the books that were introduced. So millionaire mindset, for those millionaire within, for those of you who don't know, is all about the mindset and the things that we believe is impossible. Then it kind of paves the way that things are possible. And so, you know, every year Dymphna and the team point to like scientists, researchers, and, you know, latest technology of the mind, neuroscience, and because that's my thing, you know, so I love it. I got so much from that. And then, you know how it is when you get something and then it kind of like you get something else and you get something else, so it's exponential, and it's compounding the learning from that. So that helped kickstart a lot of the mindset shift within me. And of course, you know, like I live with him, so it rubs off. I hope so. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, good. So then they are the ones in the ILRE real estate community, and then of course, probably the other thing is platinum. And I think you're going to go into that next. Is that right? Is that the next one you were?
Yeah. Look, it's I'll talk whatever. It's just there's so much to share about it. It just depends how long we have, you know. So yeah, but the events. Yeah, look, platinum, you know, so it's the platinum, but then through platinum, we pretty much attended all these events. And, you know, it's just, this is not really, you know, advertising platinum, but like that's what happened for us. And I've seen that happen for other people. And standing here now, because we joined Platinum 2018, and I was in the community from 2013, so that's 5 years. So I wish I joined earlier. Okay, but then life happened and other things was going on for me, so it didn't happen that way. But yeah, through Platinum I had access to all this training. I think I went, and then Sana's joined me as well, 6 or 8 ultimate boot camps, and I went to Extreme Income and all that. So
yeah, it's crazy. We were looking at reviewing our kind of last couple of years last night. And then in 1 year, 2016, 18, we'd gone to the Brisbane and Gold Coast for like 6 times for these events, you know, and we just chased them around because it was so much fun.
Yeah, and then you meet so many amazing people and you learn from them, you stay in touch with them. Because we're quite people's person, right? So we like to interact and we like to connect with people. So yeah, so going back to your question, what was the question again, Michael? I can go off a tangent, mate. You have to bring me back, okay? I can go off on a tangent telling a story or two, but it may not be answering the question.
We're looking at the things that actually really impacted you and the events. And so you've spoken about the super conference, the real estate millionaire within, and I think you were going to mention Bali Namaste. And I suppose I should just let everyone know that obviously Platinum is a high level program. You get to learn about it at the boot camps when you come along. It's spoken about and offered, but also when you've been in Platinum for 1 year, and if you decide to come back for a second year, you become a graduate. And in previous years, what happened was, because we've obviously got this lockdown and we can't travel and so forth, there's a different system. There's what's called a graduate day, specifically for platinums who've come back for a second year or more. But in the previous years, it actually used to be a trip overseas, and it would be to Bali, and it was called Bali Namaste, and it was very special. It was very intimate. It was just with Dymphna and the coaches, and it was quite amazing. I think that's what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Look, I heard about that. Event. And you know, when we were in Platinum, there's so much coming at us, like in terms of, you know, us going to all these events, plus the Platinum event, the meetings and all that stuff, and then finding out, like, every time we had a meeting with our coach, I would be like laying on my back on the couch from the confrontation, like what's possible and what we need to do, and then like my belief system getting in the way. And then
I'll just give you, sorry, just to cut you off, I'll give you the one example, because when you join Platinum, you have what's called a blueprint meeting with your coach. And so this meeting went on for like 3 hours. It was the middle of the day, right? And then after
that long?
Yeah, it was like 3 hours. And then after that, we were like, all right, okay. And then we just kind of sat on the couch and we had a 3-hour nap. because he was just like, oh my God, like, what is all this coming at us? We were so confronted that we didn't know what to do. We just kind of checked out and we just lay flat for like 3 hours in the middle of the day. We never do that, it was just like
yeah, and it wasn't like it wasn't coach's fault. It's just like they're saying to, like, because we were saying this is what we want to create, and they go, yeah, of course we can do it this way and
this
that
is
way
what
and
you
that.
need to do, and we're
And
like,
I'm like, can I do that? And then anyway, so the reason I'm telling you that, then at the end of the year, and it worked out really well for us, so that we could. Well, Sana's had a conference that she was organizing, so unfortunately she couldn't go. So it was me. I went on my own at the end of the year after the platinum meeting that we had in Sydney. So I went from Sydney direct to Bali. So Bali is an incredible experience. So it's my kind of thing. So there's a lot of mindset, there's a lot of celebration, getting to know people. There was about 50 of us or 50, 60 of us from platinum. So the graduates, and at the end of the year, not everyone can make it as well. But the people I met, the connections that I did, and then so much mindset shift. Put it this way: at the events, we could hang out with Dymphna. Dymphna's amazing, right? But being able to have a one-on-one time with her, so we had a dedicated time plus all the other walks and other things that we did. So we were there 5 days or something, but it was like this shift was incredible. So the thing is, you get a lot of time in platinum with the coaches and Dymphna and everything else, but in Bali it's just so concentrated, and then you have a shift and then you can implement it straight away. So I had a meeting with Dymphna and then rearrange my brain to go and talk to my coach and then set a plan in place. And then it just I'll just share a couple of photos that it was, for me, it was life-altering experience. Like I came back and Sanas wasn't even there, and then from how I was, she was like, okay, we're doing this. And that was this like a turning point for us. Like we were already doing things, we were already in a deal, but then it like took things from like what you talked about at the beginning, mindset shift, and add a zero to the end of your deal. It's just like that's when it happened, and we talk a bit more in detail about it. But I want to share a couple of photos of what kind of the things that we were doing there. It's just so much fun. So can you guys see this?
We just went to desktop, but it just
hold on. There you go.
You want to? Yep, we can see that now.
Yeah, sorry, okay, cool. So that's we're doing yoga early in the morning, looking at the beach. So just different activities. Dymphna is, if you let her do it, she does so much creative things. We did so, like I could spend 2 hours talking about the experience in Bali, but this is kind of one morning stretching. You can see all the blokes are we're not flexible, struggling at the back. But anyway,
a couple of strugglers with the yoga. Yep.
Yeah, yep. You could see that the legs are not doing too well. That's me there struggling. But but
that's a pretty cool experience as well, to be with a group doing yoga in the morning in Bali. Yeah, awesome.
Look, it was an amazing experience in the sense of people actually went outside of the comfort zone, and it was okay, and we had a good laugh. Like it was full on experience and relaxed, but also we would get challenged. So Dymphna packed it to the rafters, with the experience. It's just this is one event that I will go every year, so it's incredible. So then we went on a bus tour. We went to Green School and looked at how they do things, and Dymphna shared, as we were walking and talking. So you can see Neural at the front there, and all the other platinums, and from different states as well as from Victoria. And then there's a story here.
Yeah, tell us about this. Tell us about this. Why are you dressed up like this?
There's a story. So obviously it's the you have your peg in the sand, right? So the peg in the sand journal, you talk about what you want to create, what's important to you, and etc. So this is kind of the peg in the sand in acting, like in creating it, and you're actually physically in it. So the event was at the end of 2018. So we transported 5 years later, 2023, December, and then we were looking back on our life and what we have accomplished. Okay, so that's how we were dressed, and that's how we were talking and telling each other about the deals and about life and what we're accomplished.
As if it's already happened.
As if it's already happened, right? So then I turned up as a pilot, airline pilot captain. I'm a pilot, so I fly for fun. Well, you know, I used to. Now we're in lockdowns. And then I like speaking from stage. So this is a coat hanger makeshift microphone in Bali, made in Bali. But then the key thing here is the babies, right? So one of the things that is important to me and why I got into property and everything else is for providing and creating an environment where I can experience fatherhood and provide for a family. So we're together, we're talking about, do we want to have kids? And well, obviously I want it, but you know, so then I'm going to create this, and it's part of my Millionaire Within as well. I have a letter that wrote the same thing. So here I was supposed to take this baby and this aircraft, as in like we have a toddler playing with this toy, and then someone goes, "No, that's nothing. Let me get you and go and get another babies." And she got me those two next to each other, right? So those blue one and the pink one, not the one in the pram. So then all of a sudden I got these 3 kids with me in Bali. Everyone's holding him, caring for it. So then I'm going around, meet my kids, and I had a kind of the name for them, but from a place of being or like a place of possibility. So the first one was joy, right? And then freedom and abundance. So they had their own names like that. So that was in end of November 2018, December. We came back December, second week of December. Well, we found out in January 2019 that Sanaz is pregnant. 5th of January 2019, we found out that Sanaz is pregnant, which happened pretty much 2 weeks after this event. And you can imagine I was over the moon with the news of this. And so he's the one, he's in the next room. He's 2 years old now, and it's just incredible. It just altered our life, the context of life, who I am for myself, who I am. Like it was all theory or things that wishful thinking, but that made things real for us.
We need another event to manifest the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're working on the other ones. So that was that, and then the finale, we had this gala, which is the finishing off. So we all dressed up, and you know there was awards given, and you know we connected with everyone. So Neil, you can see Neil with his pink suit, and you can see Mick and Brian laying on the front there. That thing, that tax is painted on Brian, so he's actually topless. So it was incredible, really fun night. It was so much.
Something else that happened in this event that was altering was that he had a one-on-one time with Dymphna, and then before he went, we were looking at deals because we thought that we couldn't actually, borrow. Oh, what happened? We couldn't actually borrow much money because of the position we were in. So we were comfortably looking at getting into deals around $500,000. We were like looking Victorian Regional. We were like, yeah, we do this and we make $60,000 profit. That's fine. Let's keep it small. Let's not, push ourselves too much. And so he went to this event, and Dymphna was like, are you kidding me? You got to be doing metro deals, and you should be doing 3 or 4 of these a year. And then so she's like, here's the thing. You pledge to yourself that you're gonna wear something really ugly on your body to remind you that you need to achieve this goal.
Well, because she asked me, what are you gonna do to remind you that you actually promised? Because we were in December, beginning of December. She goes, you got to find a deal by January. But I'm like, my mom's, there's this happening, like all this stuff happening, excuses, right? December, Christmas. And what she goes, she didn't even listen to that. She goes, what are you going to set as a physical reminder that's going to remind you? And then
and then so she's like, well, maybe a bracelet or something. And then he's not a ring person, and he's like, well, I don't like rings. And then so she's like, get out there into Bali and find something that's really ugly that will remind you that you need to get into a deal. So he went out there and he bought this really ugly skull ring. He looked like he was in some like gang. It was horrible looking. And so the idea was that until he finds it, he has to keep wearing that ring. And so he came back and he's like, this is the idea, that we're going to get into a metro deal. And then at the same time, I was doing a lot of mindset work, like a lot of abundance meditation, a lot of stuff around abundance. And then it just kind of dropped into me, well, instead of looking at regional, let's look at some other area. And so I started looking at some other areas within Melbourne, Metro Melbourne. And we were like, well, instead of doing a reno, how about we do a duplex? There seems to be money in this. So duplex is 2 side by side, identical. And so we kind of did the numbers, and then we're like, well, can we afford this? Can we not afford this? And we're like, you know what, let's just go for it. And so from that mindset shift of looking at $500,000 deals, we managed to then get into a deal, which we bought. When we bought it, was already $200,000 under market value, because we got it really well. It was at a time where the banks weren't lending, so we took a risk. So a lot of people, we took a risk, because people are like, oh my God, you're not going to be able to get funding. The banks aren't going to lend you money. And the funny thing is that there were two properties side by side. And then once we got that one, we're like, come on, people, get next one. Come on, somebody come in with JV with us, buy it. It's a really good deal. It's like you can already be $200,000 ahead. Couldn't get anyone to come in with us.
Well, we couldn't, because we weren't really experienced in how to present to another person to JV deals. So we have explored JV opportunities, and we have done and are in JVs right now, but we weren't experienced in how to approach it and how to do it. And it was at the time when ILRE gone through the financial institutions, AMP, they drilled them. And then in May 2019, there was the federal election. So a lot of people were apprehensive about the negative gearing being abolished, and they weren't really keen to invest. So these properties sat in the market for 3 months, 4 months.
More.
And then they started at, I think it was 1.1 million they wanted. And then it dropped below 800. We got it for 800. So it's like, and then that market dropped 20% in that time frame. And then the next year in 2020, it came back up 20. So we came back to the same spot.
So the point of it is that, because of that event, and then when we got the deal, Dymphna had a one-day event.
Well, pretty much in the same month.
Yeah. So he went to it, and then Dymphna is like, oh yeah, you got a deal, now you can take the ring off. And then so there's this whole Facebook Live that she did, and then she announced that we were having having a baby to everyone. Well, we hadn't actually announced it. We're like, okay, so the news is out there for everyone to know. That's okay.
Because I came back from the event, and then I don't know if I emailed her or something like that, because she's invested in that, and she was carrying the babies, and I go, hey Dymphna, you wouldn't believe this. We got the tests, and Sanas is pregnant, and we got this thing, and then you were there, you were recording the thing, and in the break, when you're recording Facebook Live, she's like talking about the story. And then when you set yourself a target and a challenge, and you actually achieve it, and it really works, we're the testament of that. And then she's like, okay, let's take the ring off and throw it. And she goes, the next deal is subdivision deal. I'm thinking she's talking about this deal that we're doing now. I'm like, subdivision deal? Like, what? And she goes, human subdivision. I go, oh, okay. So no one knew. We just made an announcement. So obviously communities messaging us and all that. So look, as you can hear, so many things happen back to back. If we didn't keep shifting our mindset and having a strong community and being in platinum and coaching and keeping us on the path and believing and not sabotaging or, stuffing it up. Because, when you're moving so fast and so many great things happen to you, just like, do I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? Then you you can, I don't know, but so in the past in my life, I pulled the carpet under my own feet and dropped, like as I was climbing and building incredible things, I kind of sabotaged it and everything turned to custard. So, but we didn't do that. So anyway,
so just to clarify here, so in December, you went over to Bali Namaste, had that kind of pretty cool experience. You're looking at things 5 years ahead in the future. You've got it mapped up with the where you want to be in the next 5 years. You come back from that experience 2 weeks later. You find out Sanaz is pregnant, and then that's still in December or January. Is that right? And then
December. January. So January we find out. But so she
And while you're over in Bali, you also put the ring on with that arrangement to get a deal. So you came back, and then was it January?
February.
So we found the property.
End of January. And I remember this because I was the one who went to inspections. When I looked at like 15 of them in one day, I was by myself. And then I came back and I told them, look, I think we got a deal here. Come, like, let's have a look at it. So that was end of January. And then like 2 weeks later, early February, we managed to secure it.
But you gotta get this though, right? So we were like, we can't get money. We can't borrow money. So we're focusing on buying properties at 250 grand, 250 grand, looking at regional Ballarat or other Victorian regions to make 50 grand profit, right? So then how are we going to buy this thing that they're asking for $1 million?
So right? We were really scared when we were signing
auction. We were at the auction. So we were going to buy next door, and the guy didn't sign the contract because with the conditions that we wanted. So we said, all right, that was Friday night. So then we said, okay, we're going to check with our lawyers on Monday to see if this is okay. And then you might want to look at that.
Bring him to say hello.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want to see our son?
Well, yeah, we want to see the version of you in Bali. Now we want to see the real. That'd be great. Yeah.
This is the real one. This is the real one. There it is. Let me turn the thing off. 1 second. Turn this off. There it is.
There he is.
It's a boy. It's a boy, not a girl. Everyone thinks that because of his hair, is a girl, but it's a boy. Say hello, Uncle Michael. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So he just turned 2, and he loves his outdoor adventures. All right.
See you.
Bye bye.
Awesome.
Bye
bye.
Bye bye. So I'll wait for Sanas to come back. Well,
So just to clarify as well. So we're still talking about December.
Yes. So I'm just giving.
And when did Dymphna challenge you about was that also in Bali?
Yeah. Well, so we were having one-on-one, right? Because I was telling her, so she was asking me, and the conversation, it wasn't about property. She goes like, what do you want? Like, what are you about? Who are you? Like what? Because she's all like connected, spiritual, and and even the stuff that I was saying, just like she could see through some of the stuff that I was saying. And then she goes, all right, this is what you're going to do. All right. So, because I was focusing on it, and that's why I shared this story about original and all that. She goes, well, I've seen you around Platinum, and I see you in Bali Namaste. You talk to everyone, you know everyone. You got such a big network. You should be doing joint mentorships and in metro, not regional. Yes, you're limited with your own capacity, but work with other people, and you can help them and they can help you. It's not about you. And it's not you asking for favors, it's just everyone wins in this, because that's what we are focusing on, and that's what our community is about.
That's such a cool response to you, isn't it? How cool is that?
And then she's like, go and do that, and I go, how are you going to do that? I'm like, by the time I'm like, my brain, and I'm getting, can I do it? She set me the challenge. So then that's set things in motion.
And then he had this thing on his desktop screen, which was a countdown thing. Like you got do you remember that? Like one day, like 30 days until you find this deal, 20 days until you find this.
Every
day was counting down.
I would wake up and see this ring in my hand. I'm like, what are we gonna do? And I'm like calling my coach, and Sanaz is here, and everyone in my circle knew. I would go to a meeting and they go, what's this ugly ring in your hand? And I would like tell them the story. And so it's just like this, it's inescapable. So it's just like I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it we could do it. But then setting that challenge is that, yeah, so it just altered. Like, and we got the property at auction, just to finish it off. So the person next door, the agent didn't sign the contract. So we went to the auction to see what happens.
The one next door. Yeah?
One next door. We ended up buying the next door at auction, much cheaper than the other one, and with conditions, because it's not heard of to. It's unconditional, right? So we had subject to finance and all that other stuff, and there's so much story to it. But that was one challenge or one thing that we had, and one problem, or like lending or financing or serviceability. And I know some people listening to this may think that already, like, it is real for them, that they can't have this or they can't get that. But really, with the community and everyone else and the professionals as well. Like,
the professionals, the lawyers, the accountants, they're magicians.
Man, I was shaking because we signed the contract subject to finance 4 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever it was. I'm on the phone to QBank. He was mortgage broker. I'm calling Derek's guy. Hey, can we get this? And then because we did it a bit more complex structure, like a unit trust and discretion. So can you get this set up? Blah 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 time, and then time is ticking. Come on, like it's this. They were so great with us. If I was dealing with me, I would just like, mate, you take your business elsewhere, So I was so panicky. I'm like, because we were stretching ourselves.
Yeah, but then we would do it very differently now because we got that experience. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, we've done that. So it's there's less edge to it.
Yeah. So look, mindset, like 80% for us, like the technical you learn, right? What deal to do and all that, but mindset was the key for us.
So just to kind of clarify that, so what happened was, from that challenge and doing what you did and following that challenge, you've turned your usual profit of what you were thinking originally, and did you add 1 0, 2 zeros? What?
Not quite 2 zeros, but yeah, another zero. So we were looking at 50 profit for the original deal, which would have been 20-25% return. We kind of added another zero at the end of that, and then few more hundreds.
So what you're looking at? What, 600-700 or something?
Well, yeah. Look, the money is not in the bank; it's in the property. We're still finishing off, so we're going through the construction and pre-selling one of them and all that. But the market. The value that we added to the property, plus the market gone crazy in that area, or in Melbourne, COVID, all that. So yeah, we're now, as it is now, because it's due to finish next year. As it is now, we're looking at about 700,000 uplift.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How cool is that, hey?
It's not bad, is it?
From 50 to 700,
Yeah, so how many deals do you have to do at 50 to get to that? So yeah, look, it's
lots more.
Yeah. Well, look, and then like this was back in 2018, so 3 years ago, I could, if you told me this, if I heard this, listen to this, I'm like, that's not possible. Okay, maybe it is possible because these people look honest enough, but it's not possible for me. So that's what I would have been like. But I've seen us and in our platinum community and other people in the community, not necessarily in platinum, but in ILRE real estate, have done incredible property investments and opportunities and like that. So, that's the message I want to bring home. It's that, if you've done it, and I can talk about so many problems, so many challenges. So it's not, and then that was the other thing. Like, I was in the illusion of that I'm just going to walk in, things going to happen, and I'm going to make all this money.
Far from it.
You know, it's just like, but the biggest thing is what gets in the way is us, right?
Yeah, Michael's like, oh, give us 1 or 2 problems. I'm like, just 1 or 2. It's been expansion in every step that we've taken in this process has not been without its challenges. Yeah. And that's part of the journey.
Can you describe one challenge? Can you kind of like give us like what's happened that you've run into that was just like, don't know what to do here? And
so what happened, the latest one, there's a whole bunch in the middle, but the latest one was that we were signing up with a builder. And so we did our
we did sign up
with the builder. And then, so, you know, after much due diligence, they found this guy, good price. Yeah, cool. You know, we're working with him. And then our financing took a little bit longer than we were expecting.
Yeah, because of COVID and, you know, all that other stuff.
And so the guy turns around and he goes, I've run out of insurance, so I can't take your job on anymore, but I will subcontract it to some other guy. And so what happened is that the other guy then had his own contract. So we had to redo the contract from scratch and all that, you know. And then so it was a bit of a shock to our system that, you know, why do we need to do all this again? And then he got really caught up in the nitty-gritty of the contract and all the details, right? And then he didn't do any due diligence on this new guy that we were signing up, right? And I was like,
well, I spoke to him. I done all that, but I didn't do the things, usual checklist that we do. I didn't do, you know, like the obvious thing I kind of overlooked. And then
so I was like, well, how much research have you done on this guy? So I Googled this guy and I was like, oh, mate, we're in trouble. This guy is really dodgy. So he had so many terrible strikes against him.
This is the dodgy thing, right? Someone died on his site, and then WorkSafe penalized them $850,000. So this is like not like a bad review. This guy's got penalized.
And then the reviews on him were so terrible. And then it was really dodgy because there was a couple of companies, because I started digging deep in, that's my kind of thing. So I started really digging deep and I'm like, who is this guy? So I started really like looking at it. And the more I dug, I was like, this is alarm bells. So after like 3 months, 4 months work, we're like, okay, back to square one. So we had to go and then tender it again to a whole bunch of other builders, and then they had to come in within our price and So that was like a hiccup in the system, but we eventually got there and we found a really amazing builder that we're working with.
Yeah. So the thing,
due diligence, hey?
Yeah. And the thing of it is, Michael, that we know that we had that, but it's just because this new contract was, this new builder was the commercial as well as residential builder, there was a lot of details in it. So then I got stuck in the detail rather than coming back out and let's have a look at it again. So I just like ticked the box in my brain, but Sana's, and then that's what the beauty of working together. And then we run our deals and the things that we do with other people that we met in the communities, mainly Platinum, because we spent so many years together. Because we were in Platinum 2 years. We would have continued being in Platinum if it wasn't for the lockdowns, because we much prefer meeting in person than online. But because that's my pledge, to be in Platinum till we hit our cash flow target. So
yeah, awesome. Well, it certainly impacted you hugely. And that challenge that Dymphna had and that experience at Bali Namaste, fantastic.
Well, here's the thing, right? The initial target was, you know how it is, we say in the community, if you don't have 200 grand cash or equity, you need to focus on chunk deals and all that kind of stuff. And I think between us, we had about 180 or 200, like that's why we were 200 and something. That's why we're focusing on doing cash deals in regional. So I think our cash flow, we got actually a interactive vision board just down there that we turn when we hit certain targets, it goes from gray or like no color to color. So we're close to hitting our, you know, like I think we're good with equity. So now next year, we're going to start focusing on cash flow deals, which is the end goal. So,
Awesome. Hey, look, just there's a number of comments that have come through. Obviously, lots of respect for the amazing things you both have achieved. That's Helena. Tabitha was saying, how long to work in a job to get 700K? LOL. Rhonda's like, amazing, wonderful regarding mindset and Dymphna turning you around. So,
man, it's just,
And there was one question here from Jerry's. Do you have a due diligence checklist for builders you could share, or what did you?
I'll have a. So you want me to like?
There is one in the one of the units. I don't know if that's. Do we have one? Is there one in one of the ultimate or?
I can't remember. It's just
there's a bit on due diligence within the members' website.
And
there's also download tabs there as well. Look into the downloads tab.
And we also kind of add our own, create our own because personal preferences or whatever. So it's just taking that and then kind of adjusting our own needs.
So there is checklist on the members only website, I think. So I can't remember if it was in part of Platinum or part of Ultimate, but whatever content.
That's what we took.
And then we added to it. So I'm happy to share it if you send me a message on Facebook or something like that, or Sana's. I'm happy to share it. It's just, I got a lot of help, so I don't mind helping other people as well. So yeah, of course.
Yep. Now, I wanted to just kind of drill down on a couple of the deals that you've done.
Sure.
And I think that you did you want to share about one of the deals? I think you've got which one would?
Well, so just a couple of the deals that we got. So we have others. So, let's sort of keep talking about, look how, great we are and all that. So we share a couple of them. So one that we're living in. So again, all of these deals full of learning experiences and challenges and etc. So we got this one. I got it before Platinum and before meeting Sana. So it was supposed to be a renovation thing with a budget of 10 grand and it wasn't enough. So then it took a bit more than that.
Like 100
grand. And then when we got into Platinum and the first topic in February was renovation, and I'm like holding my head and shaking, like, how many mistakes did I make in this?
Could we have done this any more reverse, upside down, that when we were meant to do? It's just like he did everything just like how you're not meant to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, completely opposite. Don't do this. Okay, I'm going to do that. That's how we've done it.
It's just crazy. Like we talk about, put your plan and, what's the thing? Scope of works and, list it and prioritize it, create a budget. Whatever, man. Like, so the guy who was helping me do the renovation will turn up in the morning. He will stand like this with his coffee. We'll look around. What are we going to do today? I'll rip this off and put this on. And so we could have saved so much money and headache. And so,
and better design, honestly, for some of the spaces.
Yeah. So we've done it. We spent a bit of money. So because we're looking at this one that we're in, doing room by room. So there's 3 rooms self-contained. So then we're close to the airport as well. So we trialed it with Airbnb. If everything opens up, then it will work well with Airbnb as well. So this is going to become a cash flow thing for us. So we have plans and permits to build at the back a duplex with next to a neighbor. So we're kind of a bit of a JV with them. And then we're going to build something big and it has nice views. So we're going to move into that and then start renting this out. And so this one we got in a good price, no mortgage on it anymore. With the deals that we've done, we paid off our debt, so there's debt on it, but it's invested into one of the deals and that deal owes us the money. So once we get that back, then 0 mortgage on this. So that, which is great, tick. So all this stuff that we learned from Dymphna and how you do that and convert your non-tax deductible loan into tax deductible and all that stuff.
But also before that, it was a GVA, because like
how
do you find a deal? So what he did, and I didn't know him then. So what he did was he looked at the surrounding area across the valley. It's like, you can get in at like whatever price.
So
like
it was, I think,
600, 500,
550 was the median. Next suburb, right? And then this suburb that we're in was 330.
So it's like a no-brainer, right? So yeah, the suburb may not have a like incredible name as the other suburb, but you know, like who wouldn't want to do that?
So I bought it. We bought a 380, right? 380. Now it's worth, like with the renovations and things that we did, 680. So that was in 2016, end of 2016 to so 5 years later. So, you know, not bad, is it?
Nice.
So that,
yeah.
so,
And you're still going to build at the back, is that right?
Yeah.
yeah. So once we built at the back, so the price of this may drop to 620, 650 around that mark, because we're going to cut the back of it. And then that we estimate that to be, it's going to cost us about 400 to build, because it's quite a large house. We're expecting it to worth about 750,
750
around that mark. And then there's more room for it to grow as the other suburbs nearby pressing the prices going up. So it's just the people's perception of the suburb.
Yeah, and what we've done is we've designed a plan in a way that down the track, if we're like, okay, we no longer want to live here, so the 4 bedrooms can easily be converted into 7 rooms, so that we can turn it into a rooming house, so that once we move away from here, we can kind of have that as a cash flow
Smart, eh? Smart. Yep. So from a reno to stacking a few strategies on there as well, yeah.
Mate, it's worked out well, and lots of learning and all that other stuff as well, and working with the professionals and to understanding. Like one of the things that we had here, when you subdivide a block of land into 2, you don't pay open space contribution to the council. Yes. So then we're subdividing 1 into 2, and then next door neighbor is dividing 1 into 2. But because we went and applied together and we have a common driveway, and that helped us out to build something bigger and better at the back, then the council goes, well, this is 4 lots, not 2 lots, so you have to pay us open space contribution.
So if you had you'd done it separately, he would have done it separately. All you had to do was tear the fence down. Yeah. And done with it.
Yeah, well,
and you didn't need to do anything else.
Well, yeah, you couldn't, because then he had to have a driveway on the side of his, so it's better for us. We're paying more money, but we're still better off doing it together than individually. So anyway, it's just
comes back to the training, hey.
Yeah. Man, it's just and the thing of it is having access to the coaches, ultimate coaches.
It made such a difference. I'll give you another example. Is that he started renovating this place, and then he ran out of money, and then so things came to a pause.
About 5 times.
Yeah, and then so like he had like holes in the ground, and then like things weren't done because he didn't have money. And then one of the coaches said, "Why?"
Yeah, I remember it was at the extreme income or fast profits. And then we went up at the back to the platinum coach.
And he's like, "This is the problem." And he's like, "Why don't you subdivide?
Why didn't you do the subdivision first before the renovation?"
So then you could have uplift in the value. You're taking that money to renovate. We're like, okay, next time.
Oh man, it's just so yeah. Look, there's so many stories, Michael. We can talk about this for days. And obviously the sharing is not look how great we are. It's possible for us. It's possible for you. We didn't, and then, there's always the next. But
also it's about that it's possible, and also like that understanding that it takes something to do it. It's not like I'm just going to do this and it's going to happen by itself. It really takes a lot of mindset shift, grind, work, being prepared to go through the difficulties and being okay with it, and going, well, this is just another step. I'm getting closer to my goal. So having that vision be very clear, I think it makes a big difference, because it's so easy. If the vision is not clear, you can go, well, don't worry about this. This is too difficult. But when the vision is really clear, then you're like, well, no, I'm going to hold the vision and keep going. And sometimes it's really not that easy.
So I was just, did you want to say something? Or because I wanted to just, we're right on the 1 o'clock, and I wanted to just kind of like find out from you, how is life different now?
Well, we're parents. I'm a father.
Where do we start?
Where do we start?
Yeah, I think for me has been the the money mindset shift has been incredible, and the possibilities, and that it's possible, you know, whereas before I was like, I didn't know any of these things existed, and now it's like opened up a whole new world and whole new avenue and whole new possibility for me. Yeah.
And Sanaz, you've also written a book recently too, haven't you?
Yeah. So all of this, in the midst of all this, you know, becoming parents, lockdown, all that, I also published a memoir about my trips to Afghanistan, where I worked on 2 documentary films. So the documentary was called Love, Marriage in Kabul, and it came out in 2015. But I had been working on this book about my trips to Afghanistan since 2009, you know, and then so through it, all of this, I've also been, you know, doing all that in the background. And the book came out, when was it, November last year? Yeah. And at the moment, I'm actually, you know, I'm always multitasking. I'm doing like many different things at the same time.
I don't know how she does it, man.
Drives him crazy, but that's who I am. You know, I love doing multiple things. And so at the moment, what I'm also doing is I'm raising some funds for Afghanistan because of all the stuff that's been going on. And if anyone's here interested, I'll share that on my own personal Facebook page. So, you know, hop on, friend me, and then, you know.
Yeah, because the book and the documentary works with a charitable organization
based in Sydney.
Yeah, Mark Bobo's Promise, and what she does in Afghanistan with these young kids and all that. It's very inspiring and touching thing. I don't usually read that kind of books. I usually do only mindset kind of books and business.
Choice, did you?
And then, you know, I know I'm biased, right? But, you know, because I have to, otherwise I get kicked out. No, but she's like beautiful story, and then, you know, heartwarming, and it's at times really hard thing. And then now what's happening in Afghanistan is a big deal, because, you know, we don't even understand. And she was there going through all that challenges and sharing that her personal experience is just amazing story. And, you know, she loves writing, and that's before I converted into property investing, that's all she did, you know. So, and
that hasn't stopped. I'm still doing that despite despite it all. Yeah.
So,
and that's the beauty of this, you know. The beauty of this has been holding on to the vision that once we achieve our goals, then, you know, I can do whatever I want. You know, I don't need to worry about like where the cash flow, because we put our money into the system's working for us, and then just doesn't matter if you want to go to a festival, just pay for it and go for it, or if you want to create something together, just create it, because we're not worried, and we're not we're not doing the hard yard of 9 to 5, and our mind is not occupied with this space. So that's the bigger vision for us.
Yeah. And we pledged 10% of our profits from property to charitable organizations, and this is one of the things that we're supporting. And there's other things that we're passionate about, and Sanaz wants to create a residency and support other writers, because unfortunately arts don't have a lot of funding, or they do have funding but not enough for supporting other creatives to be able to do what they do.
And ultimately the dream is to create a communal living where we live in, you know, on the land with like-minded people. And you know,
so more plans, more visions, but, you know, that's, you know, along the journey. So
guys, fantastic. What so beautiful, you know, to hear this. And this is the Dymphna calls it the pebble in the pond effect, the flow on effect, I know, which is so nice to hear. So what advice would you give to someone new or just starting out on this journey?
So my thing, Marco, that was, look, there's so much as you can hear, but, and I was just thinking about that. I almost gave up. I was just trying to do things, and I got frustrated. Things wasn't working out, and I was talking to friends. So if I didn't pay whatever I paid for Quantum, I can't let that money to go to waste. I got to make something of this, because I was talking to, you know, a few friends, and especially one of them I can think of when I first joined, and it's like he did do some other course 10 years earlier, and then tried to do something in property, and he couldn't.
And everybody around you knows better, because everyone's done something.
Yeah, especially in Australia, everyone knows about property, and they're the expert, right? So then I made the mistake of listening to them, and I almost gave up, because he goes, only 10% of people go into these courses. succeed and all that. And then it impacted me because I thought really well of this person. So I allowed people in my circle to impact me. So my thing to you is get into the community, find yourself a tribe. We personally organize meetings either for ultimates or platinums. That's the reason, because I didn't have enough people around me understanding and knowing the power of this and what it could create for you. So I almost gave up. Imagine I gave up. Then what we created now, maybe even my son, maybe even meeting Sanas wouldn't happen because I didn't know Sanas then. So it's don't give up. This is a beautiful, amazing community. Real, like these are real people like us. And then make sure you have few of us around you and then keep going.
And the thing of it is that just sharing this stuff, like we can't go out without other friends and go, oh my God, we're making $700,000 profit. Because they'll go, okay, all right, like show off or whatever. I just don't feel comfortable expressing this kind of thing to my friends who are not on the same page, because it just sounds really weird. It sounds like, because people may not get it, it may land really wrong. Whereas in this community, I feel like, all right, everyone's here and they understand it. Everyone's on the same journey. So there's a safety, and it's inspirational. It's not coming from a space of like, look how amazing we are, how well we've done. And it creates a possibility for everyone else. So the message is that if it's possible for us, it's possible for everyone else. And that's where we're coming from.
And one other mistake that I did, and it's a pitfall, is that I kept looking at people who've done really well, like seeing the end of the journey and not looking at the actual journey. Excuse me. And I compare myself and I can't do that, or it's not possible for me. So do what you need to do next step, and then trust that it's going to all unfold. Just take the action. Use the network, use the courses, go to the events, just take these steps and it will happen for you. Just stick with it. That's the whole point.
Persistence.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been awesome. It's been really beautiful. For those listening, please, if you want to type in and share any of the responses that you've got from this, is spending time with Sanaz and Egan as well. Really appreciate you guys taking out the time to share. Really amazing story and that real heartfelt giving back as well. I really love that. And I want to kind of reiterate as well that Egan, you run a lot of the groups in Melbourne as well. So yes. If anyone's in Melbourne, there's regular meetup groups that occur now via Zoom.
Well, yeah, so because we're in Zoom, anyone can join from any state. So there's the general ultimate and quantum meetings. You can find them on the events pages, as well as we've got the platinum. So we usually meet in person. That's what we like, but because of lockdown we're all on Zoom. So
that's right. And then you put those within the Melbourne Facebook group as well.
Yeah,
for those of you,
right, yes.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't connected up as well, we do have Facebook groups within the community in every major city. And within those cities, the students themselves actually arrange these meetups just to connect, make sure that you've got a nice, strong mates in the market kind of bond and you can bounce off each other. And obviously this one is the one that's in Melbourne. So, thank you so much. There was one other thing that I think came up. There's a lot of positive kind of comments coming back from Facebook as well. One of them was the virtual, what was it? Let me just scroll up here. Vision board. How does, Sanaz, you mentioned that, and there was just a question, how does that work? She created herself?
So what I did was because I was like, normal vision boards so boring. Like you stick something in there and it's just like it's not inspirational. So I thought, let's take this next level. And so what I did was maybe turn the thing off.
1 second.
And the question on Facebook as well, if you're an ultimate, can you do it? So you can come along to those meetups. Michelle, yes, that's in Facebook. Awesome chat. That's from Paula. Michelle, would love to join the Melbourne group. Yes, just look under the community tab and you'll be able to see that. And Mark Scheider's there is listening in. Okay, now, what are we looking at now?
So
what's this?
This is our vision board, yeah. So what I did was I created like a game. So all these, so everything, I printed everything in gray, and then I also have the color bits for it. So every time we achieve a goal, we turn it around and make it color. So it's like, you know, you're playing a game. So, you know, you got something to look forward to. So for example, that's our equity. So we are now at the 600 equity. So next time when we have more equity, I'll take this and then I'll change it into a colorful one. So the point of it is, by the time that we reach our journey, all of this would be transformed into color. So this is our, for example, our cash flow through property. We haven't got any going. But for example, our savings, that's our savings boat, right? So we got about 40, and then next month we'll hit our 60 target, and then we can just turn this into color. So the idea is that by the time we reach our target, all of these cards will be turned around. So it's something to look forward to, as opposed to just looking at something static. It's just interactive. Like I really have been looking forward to flipping this little guy here, make it color.
So that's so cool. That is awesome.
So it's just another level of fun. Make it more fun.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Wasn't there a movie where it was black and white, then it went into color? That same kind of coloring your world type of thing. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, this thing is just incredible, because I thought of doing it this way and that way, and then I told Sanas what I wanted, and then she went away in 1 week. She come up with the idea and then created the whole thing, and
it took a while. It's very fiddly because I had to go and create every little thing and then print it and then laminate it and then stick it, and then so it was a bit of a fiddly thing. It was a project, but you know, I love doing I love doing stuff like that. That's my thing. So
yeah, because this is what I came up with. It's not too bad. I'll show you. It's just here.
Relatively.
This is what I came up with, and I went to Bali with it. So this is my kind of vision board, but you know, Sana's is, as she said, it's interactive, and it's really having us like that whole cash saving whatever. It's just like
come on, get with it.
Yeah, like you know, instead of buying that thing, let's put that money into the savings.
It makes it really real and fun. So
great, awesome. There's a lot of positive coming back as well. So fantastic, creative, inspiring, and oh my God, I love that vision board from Sheree as well. So
copy it.
Yeah.
And that's also the same on Facebook. What have we got? Love the vision board. Wow, love that. That's from Andrea and from Chai as well. So guys, we could probably keep on talking, couldn't we? But I think this is lunchtime, so we better wrap it up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking out the time. Thank you for being so prominent within the community, and also just and sharing and being heartfelt and sharing as well. It's been really inspiring. It's been really lovely, and also for being there for other students, especially with those meetups as well. Megan, beautiful. Yeah. It's a nice, and I hope all goes well with your fundraising for Afghanistan as well. So just really lovely. So look, that's everything for today. Thank you. Very much appreciated. We've better wrap it up there. We're well after 1:15 so far. So I hope everyone really enjoyed that and appreciated that. It's certainly, from the response we've come back, it is. So we'll end off there, shall we? And enjoy the rest of your Friday and then weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Again, Sanaz, thank you so much. All righty.
Have a good day. Bye-bye. Bye.
Okay. See everyone now. Bye.